Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Living. You're joined with Vic.
And Jasmine.
And we've got a very, very special guest in the building. My birthday twin, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Over your gang in the building.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the people then?
Oh, gosh. Yes. So I am Anyika Onuora. I don't like to use the word former, but I will say for reference for what I used to do. So former GB athlete.
Whoop, whoop. Repping it for the gang.
Multiple medalist.
Multiple.
Global medalist. And author of my new autobiography, My Hidden Race.
Amazing. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you for having me.
I love your accent so much.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
people probably
I know.
always say that to you.
I know.
But I feel like we always get Londoners on the pod.
Yeah.
We need to diversify our
Yeah.
guest portfolio.
Yeah, it's so true.
You'd
And
be
you're
surprised how many
Yeah.
people outside London listen to your show.
Oh, really?
Really?
Mad.
Yeah, when you guys do start doing Lads on Tour, you'll know.
The lads. And you're from Liverpool?
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I'm
But if I start
sorry.
talking
It's
like
so
you, it's not
I'm
on purpose.
sorry.
It's
I'm
not on
sorry.
purpose.
Funny. I get it all the time. So
I'm
it's
so
fine.
sorry. I know you want to slap our face.
I actually
Please.
don't.
It's
I actually
bad.
don't.
Because if someone starts saying, I'm from Essex, like
Yeah.
that's not even Liverpool. Sorry,
It's
I love
okay.
it
You
so
try,
much.
you try.
So do I.
I love it so much.
Have you been Liverpool?
I've never been.
Oh, you girls
No.
need to go, you know.
You know when
I'd
I
love
did that
to.
BBC thing, when I met you, was that in Manchester or Liverpool?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
that was Media City in Manchester.
Yeah, I've not been Liverpool then. No, I've been
Yeah.
Manchester 2 times. But each time I went to Manchester for one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you think of Manchester?
It seemed big.
Yeah.
It seemed really big from what I saw. I've been to, maybe I've been Liverpool. No, that was Leicester.
We do talk slightly different.
I'm sorry,
But that's
guys.
more East Midlands.
Yeah.
I used to live in Loughborough because I trained there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's get into your book. So
Oh gosh. Okay.
this is a book of stories.
Yeah.
You have really been through it.
Mm.
Yeah, let's talk about the beginning. So you grew up in Liverpool, right?
Yeah. Correct.
And you lived in a place called, is it Dingy?
Dingle.
That's it,
Yeah,
Dingle. And the place that you moved to, Marvin's. No, let me stop. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Where's the place that you moved to because of it? No, you moved to Dingle or you moved to another place beginning with M.
So it was Wavertree.
That's it. Oh,
then
W, sorry.
Dingle,
That's it.
And then we went back to Wavertree.
Wavertree, there's a place in Ireland called that, you know.
Really? What about an island?
I don't know. Because when I saw that, I said, "Did you move to Ireland?"
Yeah.
But I was like, "No, it still sounds like you stayed in Liverpool." From when I was reading the book. Right?
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, talk to us about your experiences because from reading it, like I remember, what stood out to me was you moved to another area in Liverpool and there was lots of racism. You're the only black family on the street. There was so much racism to the point that when you went to church, you came back, you knew that on that Sunday, the racist lot knew that when you were at church, this is the perfect time to attack you lot. And they arsoned your dad's car. Just talk to us about your story and like just growing up in Liverpool and like what it's actually like to grow up in Liverpool. Because I think us Londoners, I think sometimes we don't realise, even I'm from Essex really, but we don't realise how much things we have. We have events here, we have black people next to us.
Right.
We have more communities, but just talk to us about it.
Yeah, so growing up in Liverpool, do you know what? Liverpool's a really, really good city. It's amazing, like Scousers. They're just lovable. I'm not just saying that because I am a Scouser. But like we are warm, really friendly. Growing up, like had my family, had my friends.
Just put the mic a little bit closer.
Sorry.
That's fine.
better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and we grew up with all my siblings, my mum and dad, and then we moved from Wavertree, where we loved, to then Dingle.
And what's the difference in time? Like,
it's only, to be honest, Liverpool. You can go from. It's not like London, like north, south, east, west. It's mainly the north side or the south side. So mainly the black people, and most ethnic minorities are in the south. Which is like Wavertree, Mossley Hill, Egbert, Dingle,
Okay.
right by where the Albert Dock is. And then the north side is more Anfield, Everton, Kirby, West Derby. You don't really find that many black people there. There are some black people who live there, but not really when I was growing up in the 90s. And then Dingle, woof, that was an experience.
Really?
Yeah. So to be perfectly honest, right, I don't know how to explain it. So where we lived, there was a roundabout, and between Upper Warwick Street and Warwick Street, which is the road we lived on, it was the equivalent of Springfield and Shelbyville.
Okay.
So it's like Springfield all nice and, just all cool. And then Dingle, it was like, you'd see some things. Most of the houses were really nice. The people were really nice. There was just one group of kids that would completely destroy us, terrorize us from the moment we moved in. We got broken into quite a few times. There was bricks coming through the window.
Oh my God.
There was it was even to the point where you'd think, what's next? Bullets. So I remember my dad, because we had a massive bay window at the front of the house, we couldn't never stand at the front in case something come flying through the window. And obviously bricks is bad, but imagine if there's someone just starts throwing guns at the front of the property.
And that stood out to me when I was reading the book, and you said you couldn't. It was kind of like a written rule in the house. No one can stand it. No one can go to the front of the house.
No.
And it's like, so what? I have to literally always stand at the back.
At the back,
That's
was
crazy.
Or you have to be sat. And because of where the couches are positioned, you could sit in a way that you wouldn't. I mean, I know it sounds bad, but you're less likely to get hit by a brick or whatever.
Yeah.
So you literally have to. It was strategic. Everything was just strategic all the time. And then going to church was, someone had to stay in the house.
Oh my God.
So there was 6 of us. So I had 2 sisters, a brother. I've got other older siblings as well, but as in immediate siblings growing up. And it was my mum and dad. So someone always had to stay behind. And it was never my younger sister, Ketchy, because she was the baby. So it always had to be me or my brother or my older sister. So we could never go as a family to church. And, these people would literally follow because the house is on the road. So they can track your movements. They can see what time you go to church, what time's everyone going to school or work or whatever. So, yeah,
that's crazy.
It was awful. And then we had to go to court a few times as well because the kids were just constantly, but the police wouldn't really do anything. It was just juveniles, We had CCTV, but I think the last straw was when the car got firebombed. That was bad. Just having to live through that experience, it was pretty rough.
How long was you on that road for?
I want to say 2 years, maybe.
Wow, that must have been the longest 2 years of your life.
It was so traumatic. It was so traumatic because I would constantly go back to Wavertree, to Mossley Hill, to Egbert, where my school was, which was not too far from where we used to live, and go see my friends there because it wasn't safe for us to play out. It wasn't safe for us to socialize with other people. And then we lived opposite gangsters.
Hey. Oh my God.
We lived opposite gangsters. One of the gangsters' sons was actually sound, to be honest. I know, obviously, gangsters are gangsters. But for the most part, he was all, their family were if you need anything, I think they actually tried to find the boys who were doing it, terrorizing us and had a word and stuff. But yeah, thank God we left that area.
That's scary.
Yeah. I just can't even imagine it. I feel like a lot of our listeners from London, they wouldn't even be of an age where they would know what it is like to live in fear. At your house.
Yeah,
that is where you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a safe place. Your sanctuary, your family home. And it just felt like it was just, it was demoralizing. We couldn't even, just little things again, being strategic. Someone had to be in the house. Someone had to do this. Constant locks being changed. Backyard had to, because you can jump, they would always jump the fences to get through the back. And my brother's, what do you call them, PlayStations at the time? Nintendo, the big console. That would always get robbed as well.
Wow.
So I think he got to a point where he had to hide it in the house, literally just hide it in the house where if we were going to get robbed, they wouldn't look. So yeah, there was.
That's not a good way to live. Because I think you said in the book how even like on the last chapter of when you left that place, you said, I left the place, but it's the scars kind of stayed with me mentally. Do you still think about it, or has it still affected you till this day?
Yeah, I definitely still think about it, especially when I did move back to Liverpool during lockdown. Just going down the road, like the house is there. And I took my boyfriend down there and he was like, what do you mean this house is nice?
He doesn't know the story.
I know he doesn't. But it did seem a lot more quieter now from what we saw. But yeah, it was terrorizing. But I did get my own back on them.
Yeah, with the eggs. You're brave, you know.
No, I didn't care because I was just like, how dare you? But I have to
timed it,
with the buses.
That's perfect.
So just thank God that we survived and we were able to just move to a new family home and feel a lot more safer.
That's so good. That's so good.
Did you already have family in Liverpool? Like when you moved to that area?
Yeah, we had family. You know, Liverpool's got the oldest black community in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, it's just because I don't know if you know the Albert Dock.
Yeah.
So the Albert Dock is where the ships, the slave trade, all of that. So a lot of the sailors used to dock there.
Okay.
And like slave trade and all of that, they used to dock in Liverpool. So we actually have a slave museum in Liverpool.
Yes,
as well.
I do know about that.
Yeah, we got a slave museum, which is on the Albert Dock. So there's just certain parts
slave
of history.
Museum.
It sounds mad.
It does sound crazy.
In what way? No, please. As in like
no, like just the history.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like it's not like glorifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not glorifying.
Has people protested against it?
Not that I know of.
Let me research when I get home. I'll research.
Okay. Yeah. It's like I think it's the only slave museum in the UK. I understand, but I know there was some resistance from maybe like the black community in Liverpool, because we're like, oh, we should teach the whites about slavery. But from what I understand, it is it's like very educational. So yeah.
What was it like being like the only black girl in your school and like in the area? Because even though you were, when I was reading, it seemed like you had a really good friendship group.
I did.
And they would like you. I know you kept saying like, you know, you were dealing with like colorism and not feeling beautiful as a black girl. But like your friends would constantly be like, "But you're beautiful, you're beautiful."
Yeah.
And I feel like your friends in your book felt so. And I was assuming they were predominantly white. Right?
Yeah, they were.
And the story that literally I was about to cry last night when I was reading this chapter.
Oh.
You said that a friend, when you felt like you felt like it was hard to find clothes because you felt, you know, muscular and you wasn't fitting into the clothes well that were available in shops. And one friend was it your friend or a friend's mum bought you a red dress?
Yeah, my friend's mum bought the dress.
And I just felt like, that's beautiful people, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful people.
No, it really was. I had the most amazing friends. I didn't have... So when I was in primary school was very mixed. Like mixed kids, different ethnicities, minorities. But when I got to secondary school, I went to all-girls school. The school is mixed. Like Archbishop Blanche School is mixed. But my particular school year, I was like the only black girl.
Wow.
Really?
So the year below, like mixed, like loads of black girls. The year above, and even in my sister's year, she had like loads of black friends. But my particular year was like nada. I had one mixed race friend. I had a Chinese friend. There was maybe a Muslim girl. But there was no black girls in my year. And yeah, most of my school friends, my immediate group, they were all white. So I was like the only school friend. So when you go to hang out, you know, you're going shopping, Jane Norman, Morgan, all of those shops. It was difficult because, you know, they had, you know, clothes that would basically shape their bodies. Whereas when I'd go in there, I'd be like, oh, I hate this. It was just such a process. I'd just be like, oh, can we go somewhere else? Like, just whatever. And then the school disco story about that boy who was like, I'm not going to dance with an effing white black girl. Why would I go near there? That was when I was, I just lost it. But that's when my school friends, they really, really showed up. Like, they were really, really there for me. So yeah, I always had words of encouragement from them.
That's really
because
beautiful.
they could see it. You know, they could see it. They couldn't relate to it, but they could see it, especially how boys were.
Boys are nasty.
Yeah,
that must have been so difficult. And I mean, is it something that like your sister also went through? Like, did your other family members also go through similar experiences, or did you find like you felt quite alone in it?
Definitely black girls have very similar experiences because there was a lot, like, it's a massive Nigerian community. Shout out to the Igbo Centre, shout out to the Nigerian Social Club, because that's where we would go as kids and learn about the culture, the history. Like, our parents always wanted us to immerse in the culture and the values and kind of mix that with like traditional British ones as well. So we would go to Saturday school, learn Igbo, all of that stuff. But then when you're mixing in school on a day-to-day basis, they're the bits that shape you. That's the stuff you can't escape. So when you're socializing with boys, the white boys are not checking for you. The black boys are not checking for you.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was always literally like hardly any of us were dating, or we were dating outside our race. I did date one white boy. He was all right. But do you know what it was, right? Track and field saved me in a way because I started to understand like myself. Like, I would always surround myself with, when I'd make teams as a junior athlete, with all the Londoners, with all the guys from the Midlands, all the fast athletes. So I became friends with them, started hanging out with them. Even when I wasn't training on a weekend, I'd go and hang out with them. And we were always just cool, And I know it sounds dead mad, but the black guys here just, they found you attractive and there was less work to do. Whereas in Liverpool,
you're sussing out.
Yeah, like literally you're feeding through. And I'm not trying to say, it's all black guys, but the majority was always like black guy and a white girl, or exotic looking, or mixed race, or whatever. So
and they'll come and tell you, I'm not colorist. It's just what I like.
It's just my preference.
Honestly. But then when I moved to London, hey, you guys here.
Oh, what was it? Enjoyment?
Oh gosh, it was.
Oh, enjoyment, RJ. Love that.
No, it was. Like, I lived here between 2008 and 2012, and it just felt like there was less work to do. Like, I would meet guys on the way to training, like at the bus stop, on the train station.
This is enjoyment.
They would literally be like,
would they be like, I love your accent?
Yes, they would.
London guys have no shame.
They don't.
Your accent is sexy.
No, honestly, they don't. But then some of them would just like, they'd see you. They'd see you before you'd even talk. And they'd be like, oh, can I get your number? Or I'd love to hang out, or I'd love to take you out on a date. I was like, what is this?
Oh, no, these ones even have manners.
No, the ones I met, they did. They really, really did.
Not like, manners.
They really did. So
no, but at least they're asking you out instead of saying, yo, my size. What are you saying?
My size. What is that?
So no, it was lovely.
I'm so happy you had that experience. I'm so happy that you
Me
went
too.
to, like, you came to London and like you saw that it's not a me problem, that these guys in Liverpool are tapped. Like,
yeah, just a little bit. I met my boyfriend here as well.
So. Oh, in London?
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Okay.
He's a Londoner.
Yeah.
Londoner.
He's proper.
Right. But tell us, when was the moment you were like, I'm going to become an athlete? When was that very moment?
When was that moment? There was different bits. So I got scouted at school. Shout out to Miss Reese and Miss Langley. They were my PE teachers. And they would always say, oh, you're talented, you need to do this. But I was always shy. I come from a big family, but I was always the shy, reserved one. Like, my siblings would probably say different now. But I was. So I wasn't keen on mixing, interacting with people who I don't know. And then it was school sports day one year where the guy who was a coach at the time, Stan Roberts, he was like always on the lookout for like new athletes and stuff. So he asked me to come down the track. I said, no, I don't know anyone. And then I turned up anyway the next day. And yeah, that was it. And then within a year, I was, doing club races, then county races, winning North of England, and then English schools.
Wow.
So then English schools is the big one. So that's where you find the next generation of Olympians. Like in the next 4 to 8 years, that's where you find them.
Wow.
That's like the starting point for most athletes. And then all these, it's always rivalry, like the West, because you compete for your county. So you got the Midlands, who were always loud and brash. You got the Londoners, you got different counties in London, Middlesex, Greater London, Sussex. They're always like, nah, no one's coming to take the title. And then there's little old me from Merseyside. And yeah, I won the race. I won the race and then became English schools champion for my age group, which was under 17. And then, like 2 weeks later, I got a phone call to compete for Great Britain.
Wow.
That happened by accident.
Wow.
Because they actually got the wrong... So, oh gosh.
Accept the blessing, boy.
No, because what happened was, so I actually mentioned this in the book. I hope I did. So in the race, my cousin, Amala, she's also an athlete as well.
Okay.
She competed for Sussex, East Sussex, I think. She lived in Eastbourne. So, she finished the race. There was nine of us in the final. I won the race. She finished 5th or 6th. What the team management did is they saw the name Onuora because we both have Onuora and we both got the same first initial. Anyika Onuora, Amala Onuora. So it was A Onuora. So they assumed A Onuora finishing first and A Onuora finishing 5th or 6th was a typo. So they called her thinking she was the same person.
And she probably got excited thinking, I'm going to the Olympics.
It was going to a GB competition in France.
I'm going to France. No, you're not.
No, they selected it in the end.
Okay.
But because it was, it was a bit awkward.
Okay.
It was proper
gosh.
Family rivalry. Ooh, Faloo.
So, no, but she called me to tell me, I've been selected for this GB competition. I said, what?
And you were like, what? Faster than
Exactly.
you mad.
I won.
I said, what's going on?
Oof.
Yeah, it was, I was like, congrats. But I was like, what's going on? And then they called and they said, we're so sorry, we got the names mixed up, blah. We're going to bring your cousin anyway. So I was like, yes,
okay,
it's cool.
thank God, yeah.
So then that competition just changed everything. So I flew for the first time.
Wow.
No, sorry, I flew. It was my second time ever flying without my family anyway. I got to meet all these amazing athletes. I met, just lifelong friends. I got to compete against international, athletes as well. I think it was France, GB and Spain. So it was a small competition. And then most importantly, you get to put on the kit for the first time. You can't buy those moments.
What does it feel like putting? Does it feel like you're a superhuman?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
In The Incredibles when they flick the gloves.
That's exactly what it felt like. And then I kept getting more call-ups every year, every other year, with a couple of injuries in between, with uni and stuff like that. And then,
Do you know what I found really crazy? The fact that you went uni because you kind of like, okay, I can't tell these people that I can't tell my parents I'm going to do athletics full time because you're too scared. So you're like, what did you study again? Was it economics?
Yeah, economics.
So you're like, I'm going to study economics. It was you stayed in Liverpool, right?
Yeah. I did.
So I'm going to do that, and you're also working too.
Yeah, I was hustling from.
And you didn't miss any training. I think you missed one session when you went to a gig. Was it? Yes. What's the Morrison?
Jamiroquai.
With the hat.
Yes.
How do you say with the hat?
That's what I think of.
JK.
Did he have the same hat as a Teletubby?
What?
Sorry.
Victoria?
Didn't one of the Teletubbies have a Jamiroquai hat? Am I making this up? One day, the green one, Poe, decided
Didn't he have a stick as well?
I feel
like he had a stick.
I think that episode was inspired by Jamiroquai.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think Poe was wearing that hat one day.
That's hilarious.
And he was doing, let me just flex on y'all. Period.
But
yeah, I remember his music when I was younger. His music videos, I remember he'd be doing some weird shit.
Yeah, he would.
But the music was good.
The music was just sick. And it happened by accident.
Oh, wow.
How I managed to get tickets for the concert. I won it on a competition.
Okay.
And it was actually a listening party, which I didn't know because I was like, what's a listening party?
Wow.
So I told my coach, I was like, I've got to study tonight, so I can't come training. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. He didn't say anything. Because he's like, yeah, focus on your studies. Because he knows how my dad was. You know how Nigerian people are. So I was like, okay, bye. And then I got the train to London after my lecture.
Oof.
And I got to London about 6, 7 o'clock. And it was there was like paparazzi outside.
Wow.
Because you know JK's mad, isn't he? Like the lead singer. So and
wait, I thought Jamaica was one man.
No, it's a band.
No.
Victoria.
I thought it was one man. Jasmine thought it two piece.
I did.
I
thought it was the one man.
No.
The one man with the one hat.
Yeah.
No, it's a band. There's like 6, 7 of them.
Are they 6, 7?
It's
No.
5, 6, 7. Yeah.
NSG.
No, don't do that to my favorite band, please.
Yeah, Jamiroquai. It's JK is the lead singer, and then you've got but he was the only one who really appeared in the videos.
Okay.
So JK,
why is he the only person in the music video?
Because sometimes that's just how it is with certain bands.
So the lead man is JK. Okay, so this is the hat that he'd be wearing.
Yeah, that's JK's hat. He had like loads of them.
Okay. Oh my God, he went out with Denise. Is that Denise the presenter?
Denise Van Outen, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. No, he used to get gyal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
with that hat, why not? Wow, guys, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Are they still making music? They still are.
Yeah. They're still making music. They're still making music.
Absolutely
So
insane.
yeah, he was that gig was my friend Zainab, shout out to Zainab. So she came and then afterwards they were like, yeah, do you want to come backstage and meet the band?
Did you meet them?
What? I said,
you met JK with a hat.
What type of life is this?
Wow.
So yeah, we met the band. They were all cool. And again, like Londoners, he was like, you from Liverpool? All the time. He's like, Liverpool. And they were just, because he was drinking. Because, you know, he liked to party.
Hey!
Yeah, he liked to party. And he was like offering drinks. And he was just so chilled out. Like everyone in the bands was cool. And then they were going to like an after party. And they were like, you know, come along, you know, do you want to come?
Wow.
They were going, because just
I'm going to start going out with a Liverpudlian accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it seems like you're experiencing a kind of London that not even
a London. Not even London's experiencing. On taps.
Yeah, it was. But I had to go because I literally had to get the first train back to London, back to Liverpool the next morning. So I stayed at Zainab's. But yeah, he was just like, yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being a fan, and you know, I hope you like the music. And I was like, yeah, he was, all of them, all the whole band, like the whole management team, they were super sweet, signing this, signing that. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was worth it. That was the only training session where I like lied to my coach, but. Yeah,
that's
was
so
like
crazy.
The thing is, even hearing about you doing training and stuff, like I feel like, you know, when those like semi-pro ballers or even just normal guys, they're like, oh, if I didn't have that knee injury, I'll be playing for Arsenal right now. But I feel the same, like if I didn't have that knee injury, I'll be.
Was it knee injury that put you out?
Okay. No, not at all. I was just lazy as hell, and I wish I kept going in athletics because I got to the point where I'm running for the borough and all of this stuff, but I never continued it, and I really wish I did now. Yeah. But I've always wondered this? How does like money in athletics work? Like, how do you get paid?
Ooh, that's an ongoing question right now. There's a lot going on in the sport.
Really?
A lot, like financial like issues going on in the sport because there's less and less money available.
Really?
Less and less, yeah. Athletes are walking away with hundreds of dollars or, like less than $1,000 for competing a race, whereas when you competed in a diamond. So you have different competitions outside of the championships that particular year. And back in my day, without sounding old, we had the Golden League. So the Golden League, you could, if you won the race, like you're competing against the best in the world, you could easily win like 30, 40K per race.
I did not
Sometimes more. Sometimes more. And that's not even including your appearance fee or time bonuses if it's in your contract.
Wow.
If it's in like your shoe contract or you got a certain stipulation, stuff like that. So back then you could walk away with easily on average 100K plus a year. And that's just doing like the small meets as well. You combine the big meets with the small meets, plus your shoe contract, plus it maybe if you're on funding. That was a long time ago. But when I was competing, nah. Not always. I got some great opportunities, but it was constantly like you had to work. You have to, there was no waiting around for things. Like those 4 years when I was in London, there was not 1 year where I had off where I was not working. I had to work and it taught me a lot of life lessons, a lot of teachable moments. coming from Liverpool where, it was my family home. So I'd help, pay bills and stuff. But now moving to London, I turned up and I'm literally like moving into Christine's flat as well. And just like, okay, you got to get a job and you got to do this, you got to do that. So at one point I was working like 3 jobs at the same time, plus training full time. Yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but I wouldn't have had it any other way, because when you do get on funding, when you do get a shoe contract, like it's just like, okay, you don't take these things for granted.
Yeah.
As well at the same time, because like imagine you guys have got a full-time job, you've got a salary, right? You're always going to walk away with that money.
Yeah.
With us being professional athletes, everything is based on your performance.
Yeah.
If you have a bad year with injury, if you have a bad year to performances, if you just don't do well in general and it's just rough, you don't get your funding, you don't get your shoe contract, you might get dropped. That, like, honestly, it's literally based on performance. So,
and with the shoe deal, what is the shoe deal? Is it, because I'm not imagining your own? Yeah, tell me what the shoe deal is, because I can't imagine.
So usually you, at the time when I was competing, you had like, as a sprinter, most athletes was like Nike or Adidas. So mainly those two shoe companies. Then New Balance came. Then Puma were always there because of Bolt. Even before Bolt, you had Linford Christie as well. But yeah, sometimes you get like really good contracts where they'll pay you, I don't know.
Oh, to wear the shoe on the race?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what if your shoe's not making me run the fastest?
Most of them would, to be fair.
Okay.
And if they didn't, if you were someone where the shoes weren't really working that well, then you'd obviously tell the shoe rep and they'll be like, okay, you can wear, I don't know, maybe Puma shoe, but you have to tape off that Adidas logo or the Nike logo.
Okay.
But that wouldn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It would literally, because they would just, then what they do is they just make you your own specialized shoes.
Okay.
So you literally go to the factory and they would literally mold your shoe. So I had that a couple of times as well. Yeah, I had that.
Because me, I can't lie. What if, sometimes I have special shoes for special things.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm not going to wear my Puma shoe if the Adidas is making me and Puma's paying me. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Because sometimes some athletes would have like a Nike shoe, but with like a Puma plate.
Okay.
Because like they'd be like, oh yeah, the Puma plate is like the new
secrets of the industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Jazz, you know when you were just talking then, you're like, if my knee, it reminded me of the Isaiah Thomas thing on The Last Dance when he was like, I was selected to meet the requirements, but
yeah. I wasn't chosen.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I have got so much respect for you being in the athletics field. I just think being an athlete or being a sports person is just crazy. Like after watching the Last Dance documentary, I had a newfound respect for people in the sports world because I feel the discipline is crazy. And like, even the fact that you said that you only missed one session as a teenager, someone in uni, we were doing lifestyle. Yeah. And I remember you were saying that you even those moments where you're like, oh, I should have let my hair down more. Yeah. But you were stuck in between two aspects of, okay, I need to please my parents, do my degree and do well. Yes. But also I need to do fucking well because I want to compete in the Olympics. So yeah, I just have so much respect for you, honestly. Like I think you've worked so hard. And in the book, and I know this as well because you spoke about it in the media and on socials, about you had malaria, but I didn't know that you had it and kind of kept it from your teammates and you kept it from a lot of people and you had like the deadliest strain. But as well, you still won gold and bronze as well. Yeah, so in Rio?
In the Europeans, I won an individual bronze, which was a month before, European Championships was a month before the Olympics.
Okay.
So I won a bronze medal there in the 400 and then we won the 4x4 gold medal. And then a month later, we had Rio Olympic Games and I won the bronze medal there.
And just before this, you had malaria?
Yeah.
And at the time, they were telling you, you were telling doctors, okay, when can I get back to training?
Yeah.
And they were like, you mad?
Yes, yeah.
You need to, I think one doctor said, you need to live an ordinary life.
Yeah. he looked at me like I was crazy. Wow. He really did. And I also kind of made the conscious decision because people were like, I don't believe you didn't get malaria. You didn't post it on social media. No, literally because people, post, the drip. I said, not in this life. And plus, a lot of people at the time, I remember scrolling when I was in hospital in October 2015, And I was scrolling, and everyone was just like, Olympics, Rio, training for Rio, da-da-da-da-da. And I couldn't tell anyone. It was so depressing. It was so depressing. And yeah, just going through that stage, like the recovery was mad. The hospital, shout out, what's the hospital in Warren Street? UCL? UCH?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, UCH.
UCH,
That's
shout
where
out
Kaya
to
was
them.
born.
Oh, that's cute.
Nah, they really took very good care of me. Originally, I was in the private hospital because when I was on funding at the time, if we had any medical condition, everything's just St. John's Wood. That's where we used to go. And then they admitted me. But then they were like, yeah, we can't afford to keep you here.
Hey, the money dried up.
Yes, so they were like, we're going to send you to NHS. But to be fair, it was a tropical disease hospital they sent me to. So there's one in London, which was that one. And then there was the one in Scotland. So they sent me there to over the road. And it just felt like literally back to Springfield and Shelby.
do you know what?
I sound so like uneducated, but what is malaria? Like what are the symptoms as well? Like how did you know that you were getting ill?
So malaria is a tropical disease that you can contract when you get bit by a mosquito. Yeah. And so according to the World Health Organization, there's
coming with facts, thank you.
There's 4 strains. So what happened was I was in Nigeria with my mom. So after my dad passed away, I always made an effort to make sure I go home every year or every other year in the off season. So off season is September, October time. So I did 3 weeks in Nigeria with my mom. So I was in the village, and then I went to party in Lagos. And went in our house in the village that my dad built. It's this amazing mansion. Like I just love everything about it. So there's mosquito can't get in anywhere because it's just covered. There's mosquito nets. There's we don't really leave the doors open. Don't get bit. Plus I was on anti-malarial tablets. I can't remember the name of them. Can't remember. But yeah, then I went to Lagos, and the place where I was staying, it was near a river or sewer. And there was just like, the egg flies were just, and the doors are always open. But you don't take it for granted because you're still taking the tablet. Yeah, and you have to take it at the same time. So even when I come home, like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
You have to take it before you go, while you're there, and after you come back, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'd set the alarm, take your tablets. So I didn't feel any symptoms. Then I came back to the UK. Then 2 days later, I flew with my boyfriend to the DR. So we took a couple's vacation, and then within 2-3 days, that's when the symptoms started.
Wow.
Like we were in a nightclub, and yeah, it was like I was like, "Can you feel that sweat? Like, is it cold? Is it cold in here?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Nah, I can't." He said, "I can't feel nothing." So I was just like, "Oh, I didn't think any of it." Then there was the headache. Then there was, sorry to be vulgar, but the diarrhea. There was that. Then there was just like constant cramps, like stomach. It was just like the holiday was ruined.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it was really weird because it would happen at night. It wouldn't really happen in the day. So I like literally waking up in a pool of sweat, like tossing and turning, like it was bad. But we'd still somehow managed to do excursions. But like the day before, I was just like, nah, we need to go. And I was literally trying to find flights to come home, couldn't find any. So then we had to wait until our flight. And then when I got home,
you really suffered.
Yeah, I did. I really did. And I didn't want to end up in a hospital in the DR as well, because I was just thinking, what if I don't come out?
Yeah.
And then when I got back to London, I drove back to Loughborough. All the symptoms had stopped. Everything just stopped. So we're now maybe day 10, 12 of symptoms per se. And then it stopped. And then I went back to training to start winter training for the Olympics. And now it's like mid-October time. And then as soon as I finish the session, the symptoms start again.
Hey, God.
But thankfully before I left whilst I was in the DR, I was emailing the team doctor and I was telling him, "Oh, doc, my urine's dark." And he was like, "I know you're probably just drunk." And I was just drinking too much. And I was like, "No." I was like, "There's something wrong." He's like, "Okay, well, when you get back, let's do urine, blood sample, make sure everything's good." Because I'm usually like clear, everything's fine. You're always staying hydrated. So that day when I got back to the track, I took blood and urine sample. And then when I got home, the symptoms just, it got worse.
Wow.
Jesus.
And then the next morning I woke up and the doc was like calling me. He's like, yeah, there's something wrong with your kidneys. You need to get to London to do, you need to go to, St. John's. And then that's when I couldn't find anyone to take me.
Oh, God.
So I drove to London from Loughborough.
You drove?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
I
why
drove.
you ill?
Yeah, I was really bad because I was just like praying to God at the wheel. I was like, please, please, please. And then, I just pulled up at St. John's Wood and then just left the car there. And then, just got to the hospital and they were like, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong. But they didn't know what it was. So when I arrived at the hospital, I had to just do test after test after test. I couldn't keep still. The bright lights were hitting my eyes. Like I was just in pain. And then it got to like midnight. And then they were like, yeah, you got a small dose of malaria.
A small dose?
That
What
was
does that
his
even
words.
mean?
I said, Doc, a small dose, what are you talking about? And then, then I spent there one night and then I went to the Tropical Disease Hospital. So,
Oh my goodness.
so
it
crazy.
was, but the recovery was it was mad, but
Do you know what I found crazy? I found crazy that you didn't tell people because you knew what they may perceive what Nigeria is. Because I read, what was it? You said something like, people will just assume, of course you got it in Nigeria.
Yes.
And like, explain that, like why you were like, a bit hesitant to tell people.
I think it was more to do with perception. So, people would just, if it's like a common cold, people would just be like, well, you get that anywhere. But if it's malaria and it's a tropical disease, they'd be like, well, of course you got it in Nigeria. Whereas I'm proud to be Nigerian. And also because you're in the public eye, you don't want to make excuses. Like going into the following year, Olympics is always such an anxious year. That's the championships everyone wants to make. It's the pinnacle.
Course,
So I didn't tell anyone out of fear of running badly, but also being like, gosh, like what if people find out? I also don't want sympathy. Like, tell me what I need to do. Tell me what the recovery is. Tell me how long it's going to take. Let's plan accordingly. And I remember when I did get discharged from the hospital, then I saw the consultant and they were like, no, you need to sit down, retire, all this. And I'm like, yeah, honestly. They were like, just focus on your health. And I was like, no. And he said, okay, your recovery is going to take, he said 10 to 14 weeks. And I was like, everything that we do as sports people, it's measured off time. So I'd already lost 3 to 4 weeks, like not being in training, hospital, all of that. So I didn't have any time to waste. So I had to start from scratch, but I had to do it slowly and just trying to get my mind right. So because I lived in Loughborough by myself, I moved back to Liverpool and I had to learn how to walk again.
Wow.
Yeah, because your body just shuts down.
And you're a runner.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It was bad. And also, sorry again to
No,
be
it's
vulgar,
okay.
I also had like, what do you call it? Hemorrhoids.
I don't know what that is.
It's when you...
You don't want to
I know what it is.
What is it?
But it's when... okay.
Be honest.
Okay, what it is, basically, it can happen if you have diarrhea and it can happen if you're like constipated or like you're struggling to go to the toilet. And it's basically like, I don't know what it is exactly, but it pops out of your bum hole.
Like a little...
What does
It's like a little... No, it's like a little nodule.
Yeah.
Like, so...
As in the actual bum is coming out of your bum?
No. Your bum's not coming out. It's like, because you've strained, it's sort of like popped out of your...
So you know how the bum is tight?
Yeah.
That is now reverse coming out.
No,
it's like a little module sitting on the end of your bum hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that one at all.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and obviously when you
So you're
give
pooing
birth,
that much?
when you give
No,
birth
you
as
can't
well,
poo.
it can happen.
Oh, okay.
Because you're strained, you're constipated.
Yeah. So,
okay.
so it's like you're...
Okay.
You've popped something, and it sort of like sits outside of
Ooh,
your
it was
bum hole. It's like a little,
sitting.
It's not
It
sitting.
was sitting pretty.
Stop.
It was sitting pretty.
It can hurt when you sit down.
Yeah, I
and-
couldn't sit for weeks.
It's like you got BBL. Just learning your side. Oh my days.
It was awful. It was so bad. Yeah, and I remember my mum. She was, because she's a nurse. She's like, she gave me like holy water, holy oil. She's like, the Lord will bless you. You will recover in Jesus' name. She kept coming in to check on me because I couldn't eat. Because if you eat, you need to shit.
Yeah.
I can't go toilet.
Wow.
I couldn't go toilet. Like, and even when I could, I'd be like, please, God, please, let's just, come on, work with me here. I've been good. And it would just be like small. And then I just relaxed then, and I was just like, don't think about it. And then, after a while, I honestly, when I took that first one, I think I cried.
Sorry.
Well, I think I cried because it was so
you.
painful. Like I had to lie on my front.
To poo.
No. Not to poo, but when you're sleeping or when you're lying down, you can't sit up. I can't sit up like this. You're just lying on your front. That's how I had to sleep. So it was like 3 weeks of hell.
That is insane.
You were like that for 3 weeks?
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah. I lost.
And your teammates didn't know.
5, 6. Yeah.
Oh, you lost weight.
Yeah.
Oh, bless
You're so resilient.
Yeah, you really, honestly.
Because me, I'm telling you lot, listen, yeah. It's not easy where I am.
I can't see.
I need them flowers. I need them cards. I need the flowers. Yeah, you're so resilient.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle, but we came out the other side.
And you won.
Yeah, Rio was everything. I just remember being there and just saying, like, you could potentially never get this again. Because the team was in shape to medal. We won European gold. The last 4 years, I was so grateful to be part of that team because also, again, I moved events. So I moved from the 1s and 2s to now solely the 400s. That was bringing me more success. So that era, the team was medaling at Worlds, Europeans, Commonwealths, and I was just part of that history. And then the Olympics is the pinnacle. And because we were number 1 Europe, it was basically going into the final of the Olympics. It was USA, Jamaica, and every other country is fighting for bronze. So we got the bronze medal.
Look at that. When I read that, okay, malaria, they said retire, and then you said, yeah, and we won. I said, what's going on? The way I would have found a seat. I was like, no, people are working in this life. You are working.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
It's not.
But let's talk about trigger warning, assault, and sexual assault. But the unfortunate stuff that happens that no one really talks about in being a sports person and being in the athletics world is the sexual abuse that happens. So you talked about a physiotherapist who was fucking disgusting and touched you inappropriately when they were meant to give you a checkup. You was injured. And then you also talk about a sportsman that took advantage of you as well. I found that, like, I'm so sorry you experienced that. So sorry. And you also linked it to the gymnast. I can't remember the
Simone Biles.
What's the name of the person that was called?
Larry Nassar.
And how many people? There was so many girls that came forward. And when you had said about the physiotherapist, it made me think there probably is so many other athletes who are in your field who probably experience the same thing with that particular person. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
Like so sad.
No, it is. But thank you. I appreciate it. I think, I'd probably gone through so many traumatic experiences in my life, in my career, that I didn't tell anyone about. Again, going back to what we just discussed about the medal, and I was always focused on that. It was always like, okay, what do I need to do this, do that? And so that's why I didn't tell anyone. And then the other element was like, who's going to believe me? And then you're also a black girl, a black woman. People don't tend to believe you. They don't take you serious.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of juggle with all these things. So with the physio, that happened a lot early on in my career. So I didn't tell anyone, but I just remember just going through that. And, that was just like, you're effectively turning up to get treatment. But instead you're getting sexually assaulted, you're getting abused. And it was constant enough for me to just be like, this is like such a sick moment. But again, you don't know who to talk. And I know it's always easy for people to say, well, why don't you just tell someone? Why don't you do this? No. It's not as easy as you think it is. It really isn't. Like you could be someone who's a lot older and gone through, so like unfortunate sexual assault, and you just don't tell anyone, But I want to talk about that because I think that's something that happens a lot more, especially we know now with Larry Nassar. It happens a lot more now in the sport. Well, it's always happened, but it's become, people becoming a lot more vocal about it. So that was that. And then with the sportsman, that was a tough one.
I hope somebody robs all his trophies, What a sick a sick bastard. But you never win again, you fucking twat. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it really broke my heart when you said that you stayed outside. So you heard that he was going out with another girl, or he was coming back. He was taking another girl back home to his
the
hotel.
Yeah.
And you stayed outside his room because you were fearful he may do the same to the girl, a fellow athlete.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just broke me because I was just thinking, like, you had gone through so much hurt, but you still wanted to protect a fellow woman. Like, I just...
Yeah, I had to try. Like, when I heard that, because I just medalled myself at the championship. I can't give too much away. One, because the name, and also for legal reasons. Yeah. But when it happened, and when I heard that he was, trying to pursue this person again, or someone, I was scrambling, trying to find out what room. But obviously you go to reception, they're like, yeah, we can't give room names out. And then you've got a team, an athlete list of everyone's room. But the list on the door was on the other side of the medical room. So again, it was I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, it's between this door and this door. But they hadn't come back yet. So I just sat and waited. I waited and I waited. But there were so many different scenarios going on in my head. I was like, what if I've got the wrong room? What if it's not on this floor? What if they're not even staying at this hotel? What if they've gone to another hotel because the athlete isn't staying here? You've got other team hotels where other countries stay. So there were so many things that were going on, and it was tough to go through. But what was worse, and I think 2019 was just breaking point for me, just seeing them constantly to the point where, again, trigger warning, I kind of wanted to take my life again in 20 during a particular period of that time, just because I just felt like I couldn't cope. My performances were going just down the toilet. And I was thinking, this person's really gonna like break me. But because we go off a 4-year cycle, I said, let me at least go to 2020. Let me go to Tokyo. But by 2019, I just realized I couldn't do it anymore.
Wow.
Like, the season wasn't going well. I wasn't going to make the team for, I think, Doha World Champs that year. I was running literally like 2-3 seconds slower. My agent was like, Anyika, what's going on? So I couldn't get into races neither. And it was just, there was no explanation. And then once I let go, and once I realised like that this is the moment when I need to just retire and leave the sport, like, I had a massive breakdown. But it was just so relieving.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Because I also have to give myself credit, because
of course.
But that's something we don't do. We don't give ourselves enough credit. And also because the sport is, they just focus on money, and it's a business. So you're part of that business. So if you're not winning medals, they just churn you out, spit you out, and look for the next big thing. So that's kind of how I felt. I felt neglected. I didn't feel appreciated enough. I felt like there was no sense of care at times. And I couldn't really turn to people to talk about these things that I was going through. So that's why I just continued to just bottle it up. So when people would see me be happy-go-lucky, I was really going through it.
Gosh.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, because I remember you said that there was a time where you didn't run as well as you thought you would, but you were still putting on smiles and stuff. And and it made me, so you said, you may have seen it on the TV where you see me smiling, but deep down I'm really sad.
Yeah.
And it just broke me because I'm thinking, wow, like, you really, really don't know. But I wanted to touch on coaches. How do you not want to punch these people in the face? When that coach said to you, you're soft, girl. And the thing is, I don't think you even said it as if they said it, what they said was a bad thing. You said that what they said, like, kind of like trying to harden you up.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking, I'm not turning up tomorrow. I'm not turning up tomorrow. What do you mean I'm soft? Yeah, I'm soft. Not everybody's hard. Not everybody's a hard. I don't want to be hard-bodied.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a hard. Why? So what? So because I'm running, I must have a screw face on. What is this? And the other coach, he said, again, sorry, trigger warning, assault. Another coach said to you, when you're talking about your assault, you said another coach said to you previously, you're so strong nobody would rape you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You have to lose your job.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. There was always that thing, I guess, with me, because I was such a prominent figure on the British team, and I was always so strong. I didn't take any shit from anyone. But I'm also very jovial. Like, I'm like one of the lads. I'm also very friendly. So people knew not to mess with me, but I also like helping people. So because if anything went down, they'd be like, oh, Anyika will sort it. You know, because they see me as like tall, black, dark-skinned, muscular. Oh, no one's going to mess with Anyika. No, that was always how I was perceived.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Because sexual assault can happen to anyone.
Anyone at any time.
Yeah.
Anything at any moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I realised that, like, you know, when like people say, oh, you shouldn't have been wearing this. You shouldn't have been drinking. You shouldn't have been out here. When this happened, I was in a hotel bed. I was wearing pajamas. And essentially this person forced themselves into my room. So it wasn't like, but then you start blaming yourself. You're thinking, well, maybe this, did I lead them on or did I make them think like, you know, all of this? So that's what I battled with for such a long time. And then to see this person constantly, I had to pretend as though, oh, hi, you know what, I hate house things. But really, I just wanted to like literally slice the throat. Yeah. Like I wanted to kill them, like find ways to just destroy them, find ways to cause them harm. Like I'd run to the bathroom and start crying, splash water on my face, you know, so if anyone sees me in the bathroom, I'd be like, oh yeah, I just got something in my eye. You know, I just had to hide everything. Jesus. That was just pretty much how it was.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you went through all that.
It's tough.
Let's talk about drug testing. And I, again, have so much respect for you and sports people. When I was reading it, you said, you have to tell them where you are. And I am the most forgetful person, right? And it seems like you are very disciplined in what you do.
Yeah.
And like, I can imagine for the most organized person, you could actually forget. Because I think you said, is it a case of you have to update them where you are? So let's say, I think you said you went to Japan, but you didn't tell them what hotel you were, or where particularly you were. You have to update them every single week, right?
Yeah, every day, every quarter. So you have, you got 4 quarters in a year and you have to update them every quarter where you're going to be.
That is crazy.
So if you're doing a 9 to 5 job, right, you always know you're going to be there. Yeah. Right? So you work from home or you work in an office and your testing slot is between, let's say in the morning, between 6 and 7 a.m. So that's your normal 1 hour testing slot. But you've got your home address, you've got your work address. Within that testing slot between, I think the testing slot was 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, maybe 11, not usually 11, but 10 p.m.
So the whole day
they can come at any time randomly. But if you've got that one testing slot and your testing slot is between 6 and 7 and you have to be there, and if you're not there, that's a missed test. If you've declared you're going to be there and you're not there, then yeah, and they have to
what
stay
if you're
there.
Banging a poo? Shit, boy.
Yeah, what if you have the hemorrhoids?
And it's sitting pretty. You better come out.
So yeah, it's yeah, you have to make sure your doorbell's working. You have to make sure you can hear them knock because they got an hour. They have to stay there with an hour. It's not a case. It's not a case of they knock and then they leave if you're not there. No, they're paid to do a job, so they have to stay there and knock. They'll go back to the car, and then every 15 minutes they'll keep knocking, keep knocking. So yeah, if you,
I wonder if they take your ASOS deliveries. Because you know sometimes when you miss them, like I wonder if like they go, oh, you waiting to go in? They're like, no, but I'm waiting to do your drug test on them, but I'll take it in for you.
Oh my God.
Do you think they do that?
I don't know, Victoria.
But tell us a time, because I think you missed it once.
Oh no, I had several.
But tell us, because there was one where it was like literally you're thinking, this is an honest mistake.
Yeah, that one was an honest mistake. I was traveling between the UK and Holland, because my coach at the time, he just departed from his job at UKA. So I was then traveling to Holland to see him and to work with him in the group. And I would either fly over or I would drive. So I drive from Loughborough to Horwich and then jump the ferry and then drive to Holland. And, you know, you're on an overnight travel, but I was staying in Airbnbs. I was staying in hotels. At the time, there was nowhere constant for me to stay. And also, I'm paying rent for my house in Loughborough. And then you're also paying to travel and then to stay in all these different locations. So I'm just like, you know, you're trying to find ways to save money. So that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up staying at this Airbnb. I got the time wrong, didn't update it. So then I got a notification to say I'd had 2 missed tests back to back.
Two?
Yeah, 2 in that day. 2 in that they came to the house in Loughborough because I didn't update it, and that was on like a Tuesday, I think. And then the following Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, they then came back again. But because it's within the same kind of time frame, they said it only counts as 1 missed test.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And then it happened again when I was in Holland. So I was then moving Airbnbs, hotels. I was literally like Dick Whittington, like in my car, packing my stuff, this, that, and the other. And it was such a chaotic moment. Then I'd accumulated more missed tests.
Why can't they call you?
They can't call. They're not allowed.
Can you call me,
Because
please?
what if you're someone who's taking drugs?
It's still my system.
Yeah, but then you take the test and then you fail the test.
And then I failed, innit?
Then you're banned.
I'm banned, innit? I mean, if you're a genuine person, you're a genuine person, and they can call you, hey, hon, where are you? I'm in Holland. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I've even forgot to tell you lot. Don't worry, we know some people in Holland that can do your test. Be there in 1 hour. If I've taken cocaine, they're going to see the cocaine in my system right now.
See it.
I'm so sorry. How can you not call me?
No, they're not allowed.
Because it's crazy as well that they expect you to update them on where you're going to be in 3 months' time. Like, that is wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, they expect me to be like, I'm going to be at home, or I'm going to be in the studio, or I'm going to be like so many things. Like, especially in your line of work. For us, it's different because we basically have the same sort of routine. But for you, when you're constantly up and down, here and there, you're going back and forth to like, how do you expect me to know like where I'm going to be?
That's insanity.
You just have to put like a marker. So I usually do for, I don't know, 6 months in advance. And you usually just put your main home address and then your mailing address. And then you put your whereabouts address. And then there's like another, then you've got your outer competition. Like if you're in Holland.
They're a little bit early. Yeah. Should we? Okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
No, keep going.
So they're in Holland. You're in Holland. You're you just got to update it every so often. So it just becomes like, it's just something not everyone can do.
Of course.
You can't do it all the time.
Can you update them on the day or like a day before?
Yeah, you can update them the day before. You can update them up until your testing slot.
Okay.
But it's just...
remembering.
Yeah, it's just like... and you're supposed to because, you don't want to have a missed test. But obviously, I almost got banned. So,
whoa.
Yeah, that was... The second miss... The second one is where I had to... Like, if they rejected my appeal or my case, I would have been on 2 missed tests for the year. So then I would have, if you get 3 in 12 months, you get banned for like a year. I think a year, 18 months.
Okay.
And you don't want, a year, you get banned for a year.
That's crazy.
So yeah, you don't want to, that's something you don't want to do. So
I really didn't know testing was like that.
That vigorous.
Yeah, that vigorous because they really make it sound like it's random. Like they just walk up on you and they're like, yeah, it's time for you to pee in this cup.
Yeah, they turn up. And even one Airbnb I was staying, staying in like an annex as part of like a family home. So I had my own room and I was out with dinner with my friends in Holland. And then the dad, he called me. He was like, oh, there's people here to see you. I knew straight away who it was. I was in the middle of dinner.
You must have rushed.
No, I literally just jumped in my car and just ran. It wasn't in my testing slots because they came at like 10 o'clock at night. But I was just like, nah.
Don't want to.
It's not worth it because I felt like I was being hunted at this point, like because it was constantly.
Do you still get now you've retired? Do you still get like
when the door
wake up?
Yeah, all the time.
Is that them?
All the time. I couldn't wait to hand in that letter to declare. Because when you retire, you got to declare that.
Yeah, do you do it like? Yeah, how do you retire? You have to write it like resignation.
Yeah, you have to. Well, you have to declare to UK anti-doping that you're not going to compete anymore, or that you've retired, and then you got. I think they give you like a 6-month grace period. If you do come back within that time, you have to then rewrite to them and tell them, yeah, we're going to come back and I'm going to start running again. Some athletes do, but I knew I was done. So me writing that letter, I was like, dear sir, oh, madam, hello, bye-bye. I couldn't wait. So.
What is life now? What is life now? Like, do you still miss it or do you feel free?
Oh, free. I loved it. I love track and field and I still follow bits of the sport, not as much. But yeah, I'm grateful for what I went through and coming out the other side. But I love my life now.
Yeah.
Like I got like a normal day-to-day job, and it's a job that I really love. And I'm also able to do other things as well around it, because the company I work for, they're just like, yeah, we love it. Just go out and do this, do that.
Wicked.
And they're super supportive, especially like with this book. It also looks good on them as well.
Yeah. Tell us when the book is coming out.
Yeah.
So the book is out on June the 9th, and it'll be available in major and most independent shops.
Oh, you didn't say good bookshops.
Yeah. People like to
They say good, all good bookshops.
All good bookshops. Yeah, guys, please get your hand on this. This is really, really powerful book. Really, really great.
No, I appreciate it. And yeah, it's just, it's for like, you don't really hear stories about like, you know, athletes, female athletes. And I purposely didn't want to write a book that was just going to be about training. Those books are boring. No one likes them. I'm going to give you real detail, because I wasn't someone like a Usain Bolt or a Mo Farah or a Jess Ennis. I didn't win gold medals. Like these guys I trained, like was on teams with or trained with or whatever. But I'm going to give you for someone who was also winning medals, but also had to go through hell
A lot.
in order to get there. So it gives a different insight. So
yeah, so interested. So much things I didn't know that existed in the athletic world, and poof, I felt tired. I didn't even run. I was like, did I run? Woo.
Yeah, and I want everything to be better. You know, I want young Black girls to have opportunities. I didn't have as many opportunities. You know, I mentioned in the book as well about the colorism when it comes to, you know, advertising and
oh my days, when you said, remember, I was talking to Jazz about this morning. There was a bit where you said that you shot this catalogue with a white girl, and you were wearing that sports gear, and you went, when you picked up the catalogue, like, okay, I'm really excited to see myself in it, and they reshot it with a white girl.
Reshot
Are they crazy?
And I was there for all day.
All day.
I was so tired. They were like, yeah, we did thousands of shots, and they reshot like 90% of the photos.
Jesus.
And it's demoralizing, but it also makes you think, like, aside from colorism, like your body shape as well. Because I went through so many issues with like dealing with like body weight, body image, you know, people calling me fat or telling me I'm
really
fat. Yeah.
And you're fit like this. We're finished.
There's no hope.
You're fit like this?
Even me with my jeans unbuttoned right now. Boy.
How can you be fit like this?
Yeah, that was a lot, yeah.
It's too much. It's way too much.
It was a lot.
When you were saying like, you know, feeding masculine and stuff, and I know that people will put that kind of stuff on like Serena Williams and her sister as well. I'm just like, people are just so harsh. But how did you see any like representation of your body shape, and like how did you deal with it all?
Yeah, I saw representation. First of all, from growing up in Liverpool at the track, I had like one older Black woman. She's mixed race, Diane Allegreen. She was an athlete. She was so beautiful. She was so muscular and so toned. And I was just like, oh my gosh, her body's insane. So she was like making GB teams. Like she was a 100-meter hurdler. So she was just incredible. And we also went to the same school as well. She's a lot older, but like, in terms of following in your footsteps. And then growing up in terms of athletes, there was Denise Lewis.
Yeah.
So her body was just insane. And she's so lovely as well. She's actually really nice. And then when I was on teams, there was like, no one on the British team really looked like my body shape. But when you do global events like the Commonwealth Games, the Olympics, World Champs, you see the Nigerian girls, you see the Ghanaian, West African girls, you see the Caribbean girls, you know, the, the US girls, and they had body, and it was very similar to yours. So I would always just connect with them automatically because when you're on the British team and you've got like white coaches, majority white coaches, or you realize you stand out like a sore thumb, even when you're coached by Black coaches as well. Like, you know, I got a big ass. I got a big
I remember when you were saying in your school, you even hiding your hips and bum. I said, show them. Prom night. Are you crazy?
Know that you're sick? Do you know that you're actually
Are you crazy? I can still anybody's man. Are you mad? When you said you were hiding, I said, show them. Are they mad?
I was always hiding, always wearing dark colours. Like, but yeah, when a lot.
Yeah, because you said you were even wearing dark colours on the track.
Yeah, always hiding it. Always wearing like baggy shorts as well, you know. Because as well, right? when you're on the start line, athletes are also sexualized.
Oh, definitely.
You know, you got crop top, you've got the hot pants, you've got the knickers, you know, the tight.
Why is that? Does it make the wind?
Yeah,
Does it streamline?
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's just performance.
Okay.
It's just performance, but that's just what we've always
Or sex
thought.
appeal.
Yeah, because everyone wants to be.
God.
Some people want to be sexy. It doesn't. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, if you look now, if you're watching like 100-meter start line, the girls in the 100 meters, like faces beat, hairs.
Faces beat. Yeah, it's true.
It's true. Go back and look like the women's 100-meter final.
Sorry, can I ask a question? You know
400
those
meter final.
tops they were wearing? Are they supportive?
Yes.
I feel like they're not.
No,
You know when you're running?
you wear you've got like bottom things underneath. What do you call it?
Okay.
So,
Like cups.
Yeah, you got cups or you've got crop tops or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, and if you're not, just tell them and then they'll fix it. But most of the time, like the crop tops are nice.
If you've got big boobs, can you run?
Yeah, but what athlete?
Yeah, you never really.
No, they're not like big
that's what.
chested.
Yeah.
I think that's when I gave up on my athletic career. That's my knee thing.
That's
my
You
boobs.
want
the boobs are too big.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you meant saying you wanted breasts.
You wanted breasts, so you didn't run.
wanted breasts. No, because most of them are like small, like A cup, B cup. Like maybe some of the throwers have got like larger boobs, but for the most part, you can't
Sprinters
be.
have.
You can't be walking around with jugs.
Yeah, or hurt, boy.
Yeah, with hair to hit your back.
Ooh.
So yeah, you go on. Everyone wants to look good, and we find ways. Because you're a woman, you want to be.
You want to look
feminine,
good. You want to feel
sexy.
good. Yeah.
So whether it's hair, makeup,
And when you're talking, you know, at the end when you're talking to the media, and you're like, you know, you still got to accentuate the body, like you mad, and you see me, like you dumb, you crazy.
That's literally how it was. You get interviewed and. You know, you just be like, pass me the tissue. And they'd be like 30 seconds to live. And then you'd be like, pass the tissue. You're dabbing yourself down, making sure you don't look like crazy. And be like, and you die in there as well. You're like,
You're out of breath.
You're out of breath. And then be like 10 seconds, Annika. And I'm like, okay. And like,
why don't they give you 1 minute?
I feel grateful.
Yeah.
I feel fulfilled.
Why don't they give athletes at least 5 minutes to catch up, get some water, get some breath? You know when your mouth is
dry,
and they still want they want the actual they'll be like to you, how you feeling right now? You're going,
yeah.
Let me breathe.
It's even worse like when people come like Brits, when they come like 5th or 6th and they're like, oh, so how you feeling now? And you're like, you can tell the person is
Wants
so
to cry.
Yeah, they want to cry. And they're like, tell me how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, it was rough. But they wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell you because they wanted like your reaction live in that moment.
Yeah.
So as soon as you cross the line, you go through mix zone, and then they'd be like, "Yes, how was the race? How'd you feel?" And you're trying to compose yourself. You're not trying to get angry.
And then, do you know what I hate when they say that sports stars? I've seen it. What was it? Was it Simone Biles? One athlete was like, I don't want to. No, it was the tennis.
Serena.
No. She had
Coco?
a Netflix doc. Yeah.
Oh, Coco.
No.
Naomi.
Naomi.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, I don't want to do media right now."
Oh yeah.
After the game, I don't want to do me. I don't want to talk to y'all. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then now saying she's rude.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Like,
Because when you're commuting home after work, you don't want to talk to anyone. You're antisocial. That's how I feel after this game.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyways, we've got to go, guys. But we've absolutely loved this chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Can I just say, as a fan, you girls are doing incredible. So every Monday morning, I'm like, for episodes, I'm ready, and you have me cracking up, both of you. You, Victoria, during lockdown. Hey, with your mom, with the COVID and the onion.
We've really suffered with this
and
COVID.
You guys, it's just crazy. I don't know how you guys do it. But yeah, keep big up to Black Girls Living.
Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you.
And when
so,
you want to
so
do
much.
Lads Up North, let me know.
Oh, they are.
Absolutely.
They are. I can't wait to say us when I'm there. You trying it with us?
Yeah.
Because I love how you lot say us
Yeah.
when you mean me.
Yeah.
Can you say chicken and a can of Coke?
Chicken and a can of Coke. We got to go now, guys. Stay blessed. Have a lovely week. Bye guys.
Bye.